Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumptions or beliefs.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this, Tuesday, 19th of August, 2025. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Locals, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on Facebook, you got like 7 choices. So run over there and clickety click.
Clickety click, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope y'all had a good weekend. And of course, we missed Monday, but hey, we're just trying to catch up with things around here, trying to get everything in order. But y'all know how life is. So I guess we should just go ahead and jump right in, huh?
Say hi to the fam.
Well, yeah, we got to say hi to the fam. My bad. There's Dawn. How you doing, Dawn?
There's Mike.
Mike, what's going on, Mike?
There's Miss Steph.
Hey, Steph.
There's Aaron.
Aaron, be safe while you're driving, sir.
There's Chad.
Chad, what's going on, Chad?
There's Liberty.
There's Liberty. Thanks for raiding the stream, man. And then I think we're caught up for right now. Everybody's going to be rolling in, so let's get this party started.
Yeah.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
We're going to start with some Tom MacDonald. Can you read that, please?
Certainly. Rapper Tom MacDonald song, "The Devil is a Democrat."
Let's listen.
All right.
The propaganda is on every channel. They think we stupid like the truth is just too hard to handle. Put on your camo, it's a culture war and load the ammo. They want Antifa ruling everything like it's Seattle. And they want anyone who's fighting to be dead and canceled. They want rainbows in the classrooms and 15 different bathrooms and white guys that hate black dudes. They want war, they don't want peace. They want fentanyl in our streets. They want borders to be weak. I swear the devil lives in California. He a politician. He passing bills that bring chaos and division. Yeah, the devil lives in California. Should be in prison. He got horns, but he tries to keep them hidden. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we don't play that. They say that. They love America. We know it ain't that. The devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it. We ain't switching. Y'all are tripping. I guess God just spelled us different. They get celebrities to do they talking. They get mansions while they cram us all into apartments. Tell us it's cool to stay in school and then make you retarded. If you ain't liberal, then they treat you like you human garbage. If you speak up, then you a target. They want their voice through an amplifier. Violence and our flag on fire. No voter ID required. They want war, they don't want peace. They want defund the police. They want you surrounded by screens. The devil lives in California. He a politician. He passing bills that bring chaos and division. Yeah, the devil lives in California. Should be in prison. He got horns, but he tries to keep them hidden. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we don't play that. They say that. They love America. We know it ain't that. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it. We ain't switching. Y'all are tripping. I guess God just built us different, dog. The devil is a Democrat. That's a fact, that's the truth. Look how bad that it gets when it's blue. The devil is a Democrat. That's a rap, it ain't news. And the way they treat America is proof. I swear the devil lives in California, $100 bills. He knows everyone in Hollywood and parties in the hills. Give you everything you ever wanted, plus a couple mil for your soul and your vote. It's a deal. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we don't play that, they say that. They love America, we know it ain't that. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it, we ain't switching. Y'all are tripping, I guess God just built us different, dog. The devil is a Democrat. And we don't play that, they say that. They love America, we know it ain't that. The devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it, we ain't switching. Y'all are tripping, I guess God just built us different, dog. The devil is a Democrat.
Thoughts?
All right. So, yeah, Tom MacDonald with another song. You know, Tom MacDonald, he sure has been, I guess, one of the voices that's been speaking up in terms of music for quite some time, and that's been good. Him and Loza Alexander were the first ones. But who was was it a couple that was singing that one song? Oh God, what was that song?
I can't read your mind right now.
I know you can't. Geez, she had a great voice. She was. I wish I could remember it. We used to play it all the time.
Oh no, that was the two guys. The revolution will not be televised.
Yeah, was it? I thought that there
Two
was a
guys
woman
from
in
the-
there. Okay, well there was one.
Oh, and then I know which one you're talking about. I'll
Just a
have
little
to
blast
find
from the
it.
past here, but yeah, but Tom MacDonald definitely has the staying power. He's still around. I think Loza Alexander's still doing stuff every now and then. But yeah, Tom MacDonald, he's always fun to listen to. Yeah, good song. You know, certainly controversial, but that's one of the things that brings him right to the top of the charts, even though they try to keep
And he's an independent label.
Yeah, he
and
does
they
his
can't
own.
keep him off the charts.
Right. Well, the Apple tried to suppress that. They didn't want anybody downloading the
Didn't
song.
work it.
Yeah, it didn't work out very well for them. So, anyways, yeah, kind of fun. Always fun to see what Tom MacDonald's coming out with.
Yeah. You ready? We got one more thing from Tom MacDonald.
Oh, okay, nice.
Would you read that, please?
Yes, is it the same thing? Yeah. Tom MacDonald responds to Gavin Newsom's comments about his sexuality.
Let's listen.
All righty.
So, as many of you may have seen, Gavin Newsom called me gay on X this morning. I think he's just mad that the song I wrote about him, The Devil is a Democrat, is currently #1. But Gavin, you don't have to be mad. You've got lots of #1s too. California's #1 in homelessness. It's also #1 in unemployment. And who could forget it's #1 in totally preventable forest fires? You're crushing it, bud. Gavin, I think you're just mad that
the devil lives in California. He a politician. He passing bills that bring chaos and division. Yeah, the devil lives in California. Should be in prison. He got horns, but he tries to keep them hidden. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we don't play that. They say that. They love America. We know it ain't that. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it. We ain't switching. Y'all are tripping. I guess God just built us different. They get celebrities to do they talking.
Thought.
Just talking trash, but you know, it's one of those things where especially with something like that kind of song, you know, there's no such thing as bad press, and if Gavin Newsom is pointing them out, he's just bringing more attention to him. And another reason, of course, we did see Gavin Newsom's face change after he disappeared for a week, which happened about 2 weeks before or after there was a casting call for somebody who looks like Gavin Newsom, and then yeah, he disappeared, and then he looked different all of a sudden. You know, some of these things kind of make it weird when it comes to just strange happenings around the world.
Strange happenings around.
Hey, Running Scared, thanks for joining.
That's Liberty.
Oh, is that Liberty?
Yeah, he's
Awesome.
everywhere.
He is everywhere. He's over there on Pilled, over on YouTube. We
Yeah.
appreciate you, Liberty. You're awesome, man.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
All right. Right. Let's see. What's Chop saying there? Chop says 5 times August has been on this for a while as well. What am I missing?
I think that's the name of a group, 5 times August.
5 times August. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
How about some Justin?
Oh, that's one of the groups. Okay. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Justin works.
All right. Let's listen.
Moving on.
There's a lot of people out here that are insecure with their salvation, and there's some scriptures out here that's really confused some people. One in particular I want to talk about. You'll stick with me. I think you'll get a revelation knowledge about this scripture, and it'll put to rest any insecurities that you have. And this is the infamous Matthew 7:21 through verse 23. Let's talk about this. This is Jesus talking. And this is the one that scares everybody. But Jesus said, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. All right, stop. What's the will of the Father? To believe in Jesus Christ. It's just that simple. The will of God for your life is to believe in Jesus Christ. The will of God is separate from your purpose, separate from your assignment. The will of God is simply believe in Jesus Christ. Let's continue. Verse 22, Jesus said, on that day, many will say, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do mighty works in your name? Well, this is talking about discipleship, but not his disciples. This is talking about false teachers and false prophets and false disciples. All right, let's continue. Verse 23, Jesus said, and this is where it gets spooky, and this is where it rattles everybody's cage. And Jesus said, and then will I declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. So what is lawlessness? It's not governed by or obedient to laws. Allow me to explain it like this. I believe you'll get a revelation. Imagine this pen is the cross. Imagine Jesus is hanging on the cross. This cross has 2 parts. It has the old covenant that it's facing and has the new covenant that's behind it. So imagine Jesus is on the cross facing the old covenant, which is the law. So what was the law? The law was God's promise of blessings for obedience and consequences for disobedience. So imagine that. Jesus fulfilled the law because man couldn't. No man could adhere to the law. So Jesus sacrificed himself. God sacrificed Jesus, but Jesus volunteered to be sacrificed to fulfill the law. So all of God's wrath and all of God's punishment was placed on Jesus on the cross. Jesus declared, it is finished. What was finished? The law. Everything was fulfilled through his death, burial, and resurrection. So imagine the backside of that cross after the death, burial, and resurrection is the new covenant, which is grace. God's grace, mercy, and love for us. Okay? Now imagine what this scripture is talking about is that those people, and this is who Jesus is talking to, those people that has rejected the finished work of Jesus and has rejected him, which is the will of God, which is believing on him, and they have walked around to the front side of the cross again and placed themselves back under the law in the old covenant, which has already been fulfilled. And these people are saying that my works and my efforts can earn God's favor and God's merit. These are the people that Jesus is referring to. He's calling them lawless because they are adhering to a law that they can't keep. They're adhering to a law that he already fulfilled. They're trying to live by a standard in a law that they can't keep. So Jesus called them lawless. So that is what that scripture is talking about. He's not talking about you. He's not talking about the people that believe in Jesus Christ. He's talking about the people that has rejected Jesus Christ and are trying to be religious and that are trying to earn their way into heaven by their works and their efforts. That is who Jesus is talking to. You know, one thing I always love about Scripture is Scripture confirms Scripture. And one of my favorite scriptures that is kind of my baseline that I hold everything to is, I will never leave you, I'll never forsake you. So in order for somebody to leave, there has to be presence. In order for somebody to forsake, there has to be relationship. God will never leave you. He'll never forsake you. I love the way Paul wrote it. Paul said that any other gospel other than the gospel of grace is another gospel.
All right, we're going through this again. Hey, Aaron, welcome home. All right. So, thoughts. Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 through 14. The narrow and wide gates, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only few find it. And see, I understand what he's getting at there, and I understand that there's the old covenant and the new covenant, but Jesus also called on us many times to follow him. And to fulfill something means to bring it to completion, to accomplish a purpose, or to make something happen as predicted or intended. And Jesus himself even said that neither one jot nor tittle will be removed from the law until he comes back, is my understanding of it. So I understand what he's getting at. And no, we can't gain our salvation through works. No, not at all. We need to spend time in the Bible and reading his word and trying to follow him as best as we can. But I certainly believe that we must do our part to follow the law, not just the 10 commandments, but I think that we need to understand the 10 commandments, which is magnified and further defined through what, the other 603 mitzvot. And so I think that, yeah, I understand what he's saying, and I get it. You can't do it by trying to follow all of the commandments that are written in the Bible, but we should certainly try to gain our understanding through that and live it to the best of our ability. And no, it's not that we can fulfill the law again. It's already been fulfilled once, and it can't be fulfilled again. It's kind of like he ran the race and he won because he is God's only son. He is that example. So if somebody's here as an example, then we should probably follow the example that was set, would be my perspective on this whole thing. But I understand that that there is a lot of debate about this, and people are on both sides of the fence. No, and I would agree with people that there is absolutely no way that anybody could fulfill the law again. But I do believe that it is that we are supposed to try to do it to the best of our ability every single moment of every single day. And the only way we can try to do that is to keep God on our mind. And to keep God on our mind is to think about his laws, his commandments, and to meditate on those. I mean, that's what King David did. King David clearly was a human being and made many, many mistakes. And so therefore, no, you're not going to fulfill the law again, but we should make sure that God is our primary concern and that we are trying to emulate Jesus as best as we can, would be my guess.
Glad you're home, Don.
Welcome home.
You ready?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Were you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
I know that you have lots of things that you'd like to add on this conversation, because it's a conversation that we do have.
I agree with what Steph said.
What's that? Where are we at?
Right here. Right. You got to know where you've been to know where you're going. It's good to know the Old Testament, but we're not under the Old Testament. We're under the New Testament.
Right. But to understand what Jesus is talking about, my opinion is, and it's just an opinion, and that is that how can we understand what Jesus wants us to do if we don't know what it is that he was doing? To what laws, commandments did he fulfill? He fulfilled all of the prophecies, most certainly, but the commandments is part of the whole thing. And I guess that's where I'm at. Hey, Cal Bear, thanks for joining.
Glad you're
Yeah,
here.
glad you're here as well.
And I agree. The Old Testament is a history lesson, and I believe
And it's a way to
yeah, and I do know that other than the ones that are for the priests and the ones that are for the kings of the 603 mitzvah, I know most of those commandments fit into the 10 commandments.
Yeah.
And so if you follow those 10 commandments, you should be fulfilling those 603 others. And so as long as you are working your butt off to follow those 10,
yeah,
you're going those 603 other than, like I said,
Yeah.
for the priest and for the kings, you should be able to, but we're still human. We're still
Yeah.
going to sin. And that's why Jesus had to sacrifice. And that's why he had to do what he did, because all of us are sinners.
Well, we are. And I think that's the point. And so I guess maybe I'm not actually, I know I'm not communicating myself very well. I think maybe a better way to communicate it is that if we take each commandment as a word and the other 603 commandments as the definition to those words, obviously we're going to extract anything that has to do with the Levites, the priestly class. And then there's, I think, one there for a king, which is to write his own verse from the Bible that he would use as his, I guess, way of following life. So despite those, and of course, there's absolutely no reason why you can't have your own like a king would. And that's a whole nother conversation altogether. So obviously we don't have the sacrifices anymore. The Jews can't even do the sacrifices because they don't have a temple. There happens to be, I don't know, the Al-Aqsa Mosque in the way right now, which is a big bone of contention. So the sacrifices cannot be done. But despite that, when it was finished, the curtain was split in two, opening up the temple to everybody. Obviously, the Romans came in and absolutely destroyed the temple, just like Jesus gave his own prophecy that not one stone would stand on top of another. And here we are 2,000 years later, and this is exactly what we're seeing. So, yeah, I mean, I get it completely. Hey, Silver, thanks for joining. And so I believe that we should understand the Old Testament. And the Old Testament really is kind of a book of karma, if you want to look at it that way. People did these things, these kinds of bad things happened. And bad things will happen to you if you don't follow the law the way God, the Father, wrote it and inspired that into all of his prophets that Jesus himself read, understood, and lived to completion.
And you also have to understand that he gave Moses the 10 commandments. And the reason why he kept adding to where it got to 613 is because just like what happened in Exodus, when he was taking them to the promised land, what the hell did they do? They moaned and they whined and they complained and they bitched and so what happened? He kept adding. Okay, you want to do this? I'm going to add this law. You want to do this? And he kept on and kept on.
Happened, but
pretty much, if you read the Old Testament,
I mean, we do, but either way, I think
we still bitch and moan and complain.
It's a magnification. It's clarification of what the 10 commandments are.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my point. So why is it that I guess when I hear stuff like what he's saying in that video that we just watched, I guess the feeling I get is yeah, don't worry about the Old Testament. It's good. Just love Jesus and you're fine. And I think that's what got us to the point where we have people who are just Christians for about 2 hours every Sunday.
No, what I'm saying is, And he was absolutely
Thanks, Cal Bear.
positively saying you must follow the 10 commandments. He wasn't saying don't.
I understand that. All right.
Left
Well,
lane's here.
hey, Left Lane,
And you're
thanks for
not
joining.
late, you're right on
Yep,
time.
you're right on time. Yep.
And there's Miss Angie.
Hey, Ange.
So glad
Thanks
you're
for joining.
here. And Silver and Calbear and everyone else that's shown up during this conversation. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. All right, here we go. Sarah Gonzalez trolls fake ghetto hood rat Jasmine Crockett at her event.
Let's listen.
All right.
Get off me! Get off me! Get the
I used to stay at my granny's house. She was one of my favorite people in the entire world.
Jasmine! The people of Dallas deserve better than a fake ghetto hood rat. Do they know you're a rich kid from Missouri? Do they know you're a spoiled rich kid from Missouri?
No, ma'am.
Do they know? Don't touch me.
No, ma'am.
Don't touch
You
me.
get your ass out
Don't
here. Get
touch
your ass
me.
out of here.
Get her off me. Get off me.
Get out.
Get off me.
I'm on you.
Get her
I'm
off me
standing
first.
still.
Get her off me
standing
first.
still.
Yes, she is.
I'm standing still.
Do your people know you're a spoiled rich kid from Missouri? Get it! Get it! Get it! Fuck you! Fuck you! Get off me! Get off me! Get off me! Get off me! Get the fuck.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Are you proud?
No, just in case I gotta cuff you up. Let's just go.
For
Let's just
what?
go. Let's go. I'm telling you.
Fight the takeover. All right.
Thoughts?
I bet you I spent more time in Duncanville than Jasmine Crockett did before she was elected to that district. Hell, I went to school in Duncanville for a year.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, yeah. Mike says they hate it when people tell the truth. Yeah, she is kind of, yeah, she's busted. She got busted.
Hey, Miss Carol.
Hey, Carol, there you are. Any friends? We just got home, just trying to get some dinner on. Get your dinner on. That's great. Yeah, get the flock off. You know, Jasmine Crockett, she's just a politician and nothing else. And when she wants to pretend like she's something she's not, I mean, it's bound to happen that somebody's going to call her out, especially in politics. That's kind of how that works. I'm surprised that the people in that part of the DFW area appreciate anything that she says, considering that some of those areas at DFW certainly are very depressed financially, and so she's coming in there
And
with
if
her
you
fake
look it
ghetto
up,
accent.
she really is a rich kid from Missouri.
Yeah, she's just a rich kid from Missouri, and they can't overcome that. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to help wake people up. And so, you know, you hear the crowd, you know, your fake ghetto ass or whatever it was she said, you know, that's going to resonate with the people that were in that audience because they actually live in a depressed neighborhood of the DFW area. And so it was a cut down, and that's what they can appreciate. And then they're going to start thinking about it. But more and more people are getting sick and tired of these fake ass politicians trying to pretend like there's something they're not. You know, Vanilla Ice was more honest about, did Vanilla Ice ever try to pretend like he was from a hood?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
He just never talked about the fact that he grew up in like rich, white washed
Florida.
area. No. He's in Florida now. No, he's from like Connecticut.
Oh, I knew it was from somewhere.
Yeah, but it, you know, it's like whatever. Cal Bear says she's a fraud like Obama and Biden, and and AOC does the same thing. She certainly does.
Yep.
That's funny. Well, you know, you got to expect stuff like that if you're going to try to, you know, be a politician and play games. It's just like Hillary Clinton with her numerous amounts of accents as to wherever she goes.
Yeah. You ready?
Same thing. Just politicians, not real people.
Because here's part 2.
All right.
Would you read that, please?
Same thing, yeah. Sarah Gonzalez responds to Crockett clapback.
Let's listen.
All righty.
Am I the girl who confronted Jasmine Crockett at her town hall? Yes, I am. Am I sorry? Absolutely not. She just posted this on TikTok bragging that her goon threw me out of the event by putting his hands on me and calls it a Crockett clapback, as you saw. She posted another one, POV when you tried to interrupt me, which is a little bit fascisty. Aw, Jazz. Can I call you Jazz? I want to be clear here. You're saying a Crockett clapback is sending in a man, a goon, to do your dirty work that you're too scared to do yourself? That is so weak and embarrassing. See, real Texas women, we don't need to bring in men to do our dirty work. We can fight our own battles. But I guess Texas women are just built different than spoiled rich girls from Missouri, huh? See you next time, Jazz.
Thoughts?
Obviously, this woman has something to say, and the only thing that happened there by booting her out was Jasmine Crockett gave her a podium that she didn't have before, and now she's going to be able to
MacDonald.
talk. Yeah, just like Tom MacDonald. Just like Tom MacDonald.
And Sarah Gonzalez actually has a huge following.
Oh, has she always had a huge following?
Yeah, it's going to get even bigger.
Yeah, it's going to get bigger and bigger. And people are, you know what? It's still exposure. Exposure is still happening. And these are the things that should be happening to these, actors acting as politicians.
Yeah, she is good, Calbear. Yeah,
no, it doesn't look like she's done either stuff.
No, she's not done. You ready?
It's going to keep happening.
Uh-huh.
Before you know it, apparently she's going to get elected to take Jasmine's spot.
And here's Jeffrey Mead talking about it.
Right.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. Jasmine Crockett says the quiet part out loud about Black people.
Let's listen.
All right.
I talk to Black folk all the time as somebody that's a child of a preacher. Listen, most Black people are not Republicans simply because we just is like, y'all racist. I can't hang out with the KKK in them. That's really what it is. But when we think about who we are as Black people and we think about where we come from, most Black people have very conservative values, right? But the reality is that we
just like MLK,
like the neo-Nazis in them. We not dealing with y'all like that, right?
She just said the quiet part out loud. Most Black people are conservative. A lot of their values are conservative, but most of us have been manipulated into making this about race. And that right there might be one of the reasons why the Democratic Party pushes so hard about race and makes everything about race. Because if more than half of Black Americans are actually conservative, the only way you keep them voting for you is to make them think the other party is racist and hates them. Because if you can get these Black voters to center their vote around their race, and then you can convince them that the other side hates them, in some ways, you'll perpetually have their vote until that mold is broken. And this is one of the reasons why you always see Black people in politics talking about race, why it seems like everything is about race. Many Black Americans have this obsession with race, and the Democratic Party helps perpetuate that, and they use it in their favor to get these Black Americans to vote for them. And as you're brought up, you're told you're supposed to vote Democrat. That's just what you're supposed to do, because the other party, they're racist and they don't like you. And I tell many Black Americans that I know that vote Democrat, I say, you're a conservative. You've just been told to vote Democrat your whole life. And you've been convinced that the other side hates you because you're Black. So if you know some Black people who vote Democrat, go to them and ask them, hey, why do you vote Democrat? But you can't talk about hating Donald Trump and you can't bring up racism. Ask them that and see what their answer is, or see how they respond. With many Black Americans, race is the most important part of their vote. And Democrats take advantage of that to keep the Black vote. Just a reminder, I have a free email newsletter where I give regular updates, and I also give more detailed opinions on what's going on. This is one of the only places I cannot be censored, and if I had one platform that I wanted you to be on or be in touch with me on, it would be this place here. The link is in my profile. Just go to my profile, click the link, drop your email in, hit subscribe, and you'll be good to go. That's all I got for now. We'll see you in the next one.
And guys, Jeffrey Mead is amazing. So if you want to get more information from him, go check him out.
Yeah, Jeffrey Mead is
All
awesome.
of the links are in the description below.
There we go. All right. Oh, you did the links today?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So let's see. Race baiting. It's working less and less every single day, as a matter of fact, because of people like Jasmine Crockett, because Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson just don't have the power that they used to have. As a matter of fact, I really don't see either one of them anymore. Of course, then again, I guess they're yesterday's news. And so it's like the points that he brings up, this guy, what was his name again?
Jeffrey Mead.
Jeffrey Mead, like Mr. Mead was saying, it's only going to work for so long. And Jasmine, he pointed out that Jasmine Crockett brought up the quiet part out loud, and that is black people are naturally conservative. It's just that this whole, I don't want to be associated with the KKK, I don't want to be associated with neo-Nazis, when in all actuality, the neo-Nazis are usually in the blue states, and the KKK was in traditionally blue kind of areas.
And Republicans stop slavery
and yeah, exactly, Mike. Race baiting poverty pimps. And so as much as she tries to make the case that that black people are just going to vote Democrat in perpetuity, is showing to be not true anymore, as each election has happened recently since President Trump started running. It's changed the demographics of everything. It's just more and more people are recognizing that conservative values are more aligned with the natural state of every human being. And then you have people, obviously, on both extremes, both the left and the right, and some are going to gravitate to the right, some are going to gravitate to the left. But in the end, people are generally conservative. And the left has had a great psychological operations campaign with the Mockingbird media, only appealing to people's heartstrings, the appeal to emotion as opposed to the appeal to logic and reason. And so as more people are becoming reasonable because they're coming out of the ether of what MSLSD and CNN and all of these other news stations have been saying, they're actually recognizing, hey, I actually agree with what these people are saying. And not only do I agree with what they're saying, they're actually following through with their promises. That's the key point, is that people like President Trump, they make promises, whether it doesn't matter. You know what? I'm going to say how I feel and what I think, and let the chips fall where they may. And people respond to that. People appreciate that because at least he's doing what he promised. And that is a more consistent principle that is found in the more conservative sides of politics. Whereas on the more liberal sides, they're very liberal with their words and very liberal with their promises. And people are tired of that liberality of just saying things so you can gather votes, so you can go in and get more rich. And I think that as the more conservative mentality is taking over, more and more people are taking issue with politicians just saying things, and then we find out that they're getting richer and richer and richer, and they're screwing over absolutely everybody. People are tired of rich politicians, unless they came in rich and they're not taking a salary like President Trump. You know what?
He has to take $1.
He has to take $1. Hey, Just Jim, thanks for joining. Hey, Dad, thanks for joining. And then Bunterheiden, thanks for joining us. All right. So yeah, it's more and more people are still waking up every day. And I think that that's the key point in all of this, is that more and more people are waking up to the reality of the sea change that is happening throughout the entire country, and people from other nations around the world are responding, and they're saying, I like what they got going on over there. And so it's changing it globally, even though we're just concerned about our little bubble here in America. SLSD. Promises kept is a huge foundation. I agree. Thank you, Silver. I think so many people agree to that.
Yeah.
It's, keep your promises. That's all we want. Hell, I'd rather a politician tell me, well, I want to get rich while I'm in office, but I'm going to do these other things. I think that would be a more acceptable option than just straight up lies.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
How about some Kelly?
Do we have anything about it going to MS Now instead of MSNBC?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, Silver brought that up, but yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
How is it that this is such an accurate description of me and you? Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Sheep aren't bold. They're not brilliant. They're barely functional. And somehow that's us. You don't see a sheep thriving solo in the wild. You see them stuck in fences, falling off cliffs, panicking over nothing, and following more panicking sheep into more nothing. Without a shepherd, sheep are a disaster. And without Jesus, so are we. That's why Psalms 23 tells us, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And we know this, yet do nothing with it. We still act like we got this, stacking trauma like trophies, like pain proves we're doing life right. Son, please. We try to carry the weight. We try to carry the pressure. We try to carry the expectations like we're built for it. But you're not. You're not. Think about it. Why do you never see anybody ride a sheep? You ain't never seen a sheep with a saddle? Come on, you know why. Sheep were never meant to carry any weight. They get carried. That's the whole system. And the same goes for me and you. I know you've been feeling overloaded, under-rested, emotionally and spiritually exhausted. I know it feels like everything is too much. But please understand, there's a reason. You were designed to need a shepherd, not just when you're desperate, not just when life goes sideways. The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd, not my backup plan. He's not an emotional support God. Can I pet that dog? No. The Lord is my shepherd. That means he leads, he decides, and he carries the weight. And as for you, you just follow. You just trust. You stop trying to fix what's above your pay grade. Because peace doesn't come from comfort. It comes from proximity. Sheep don't need a plan. They just need to stay close. So let me encourage you today. Don't try harder. Just follow closer. Whatever weight you've been carrying, my friends, lay it at the feet of the cross. Because you've got a good shepherd who loves you more than anything and wants to carry the weight for you. So I say, let's let him. And think about that for a minute. Hey, if this blessed you today, please check out my book. It's a 40-day devotional called Think About That for a Minute. Every day for 40 days, we take a scripture, break it down, apply it to our life. There's a prayer for the day and then space for you to write down what God is speaking to you. I also have a brand new book that just came out called Tough Topics, 25 biblical answers to controversial questions. Look, I know sometimes we have questions and we feel like we can't find an answer in the Bible. But the truth is, God has an answer for everything. So yes, this book will help you with those questions, but more than that, it teaches you how to get in God's word and find those answers for yourself. You can get them both at kellykministries.com or go grab it on Amazon if you want it cheaper, faster, free shipping. And look, I know, you don't like to read. No worries. Go grab them on Audible. I'll read it to you. Either way, check them out today. And think about that for a minute.
Thoughts?
Awesome. Kelly K is always great to listen to, and y'all can find him on YouTube and TikTok, and I'm sure so many other spaces. And he's
And that'd
great.
be awesome if you want to go grab his book on Audible and have him read it to you. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, that way you're getting the emotion that he's putting behind each and every one of those words. I always appreciate it when I can hear the author themselves communicate the words the way they wanted them to be communicated, because you can really get a lot more that way. And this is an unpaid plug for Kelly. We just love him and we support him because he's got a great ministry. But anyway, despite that, so the message that he was sharing today, with the video of the sheep, getting freed and then straight from one problem into another. That is us. That's kind of what we do as human beings, and we need that shepherd. We need somebody that's smarter than us, that can guide us as we go from problem to problem to problem, and we try to make our way out of this. But it's not up to us. We can't do that. It's about getting us to put all of our problems at the feet of the cross. It's how fast can we run to the cross with the problems that we have. And that's what the point is it's we can't do it, and we have to rely completely on him, because We all make mistakes. We all screw up every single day. And so as we rely on him, he changes our heart. He makes our paths clear and helps guide us, the lamp at our feet, guiding us on the path that we're supposed to be on. And so as we turn to our creator more and through his son, then we are led through all of the problems. And sometimes we avoid problems altogether. It's like, I can't tell you how many times that I've noticed that, where it's like, oh yeah, if I wasn't following God, I would have run into that trap. And it's been becoming more and more apparent each day. And so, yeah, it's just kind of the way it is, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And Kelly is so amazing. We have both his first book and his second book. And I'd like to get the one on tough questions, but I think I'm going to grab that one from Audible. We have the
paperback.
Yeah, we have the paperback of the first two, but I think I'm going to grab the tough questions on Audible because I have like 15 credits, and why not?
Why not?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. All right, here we go.
We're going to be on Russia for a bit.
Okay, so Russia.
Yeah.
All right. Roger Stone says the Russian collusion hoax is the greatest dirty trick in American political history.
Let's
treason, dirty trick, however you want to see it.
You know, tomato.
We'll let the lawyers figure that one out.
Yeah, let's listen.
The Russian collusion hoax is the greatest single dirty trick in American political history. It is nothing less than an abuse of power in which the full authority of the United States government and the incredible capabilities of our intelligence agencies were used, utilizing two pieces of weaponized, fabricated evidence, the Steele dossier, and the false claim that the Democrat National Committee had been the target of a Russian intelligence online hack to remove a duly elected president of the United States.
Thoughts?
I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It was a coup against the American people to steal the government. Plain and simple. It was a collusion by members within the National Command Authority, which conspired to and worked together in a conspiracy to prevent President Trump from becoming president and to sabotage his ability to do anything. And then furthermore, prevented him from getting reelected afterwards. Imagine how much better this country would have been had President Trump been able to do the things that he needed to do to save this country and to put it back on the right tracks, had all of this fake everything that was going on, to include a fake disease or a man-made biological weapon to absolutely sabotage everything that was going on in this country. I look forward to justice, and I look forward to justice coming and dispensing said justice.
Me too.
A coup is an act of war. I agree, and I think that as we hear more and more about what is it when you hit the safe zone after a period of time, after committing an illegal act, like statute of limitations. I don't think there's a statute of limitations on any of it. I think it's a sidetrack. No, I think that all of it. I don't think there's a statute of limitations on any of it. I think it's a sidetrack to give the people who had committed these treasonous acts some kind of a feeling as if they were okay and that they should continue doing the things as if they still had the ability to follow through with the things that they thought that they were going to be able to get away with before. But it's, I think, to keep them all kind of corralled here within the country. It was a successful coup. Yeah. And that's not going to end well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready? Would you read that, please?
Certainly. John Solomon says the Clintons are hiding a decade of failure of democratic policy towards Russia.
Let's listen.
And so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll confirm for you, I have been able to confirm with witnesses that there are at least 4 grand juries currently doing work on the weaponization, Russia collusion, all the way through Ukraine impeachment investigation. That's the grand conspiracy case. One's in New York. 2 in Virginia, 1 is in Pennsylvania. That's what I've been able to learn thus far. So the grand juries are working. Where they are doesn't matter. That doesn't mean where the indictments are. It just means it makes it easier for people to gather evidence. So, but that's a big deal. Eric Eggers nailed up that poll, which was first in my book with Seamus Bruner back in 2020, Fallout, is the key thing. Hillary did a poll of all of the crises in her life. I mean, you got Vince Foster, you got Whitewater, you got the Asian money fundraising scandal, you've got the other fundraising scandals in her life. And everybody thought at the December of 2015 that when the poll came back to tell them internally what was their biggest liability, they were going to say classified email scandal, right? The private email server, and it didn't. It came back that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton's too close relationship with Russia was her biggest liability. And that is the genesis. I interviewed Clinton campaign officials in 2020, and they said, yep, that's why we hung that Russian shingle on Donald Trump's house, because we realized it was our liability. We had to project it on Republicans to get through the 2016 election. Now, what were they hiding? They are hiding a decade of failure of Democratic policy towards Russia. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama came and said, we're going to reboot the Russian relationship. Let's give them everything, treat them real nice, and they're going to give us love back. And you know what Putin did? He took all the nice things we wanted, uranium that we gave them, nuclear deals with our utilities, new gas and oil deals. We helped them set up Skokovo, which was their version of our West Coast technology centers. And they took everything they get from us, and then they thumbed their nose at us. Actually, they gave us a middle finger, and they invaded Ukraine the first time in 2014. And then Donald Trump comes in. He's going to clean up that mess, except that those same Democrats had to hamper his ability to do that. They hung a fake scandal on him, tied up the entire world from being able to create a better U.S.-Russia relationship, not one based on appeasement, but one based on strength from America's side. They kept the president from doing that. Then Joe Biden gets back in. They go back to appeasement. What happens? A second invasion of Ukraine and a much larger and more deadly war. And then Donald Trump comes in, and today, potentially, is the rebound moment from that decade of failure from Democrats. If Donald Trump can exercise strength and get a deal with Putin, he will have ultimately showed the Democrats how much damage they did to the world and how much damage they didn't need to do to the world.
I just want to make sure I've got this. By the way, when you lay it out like that, it's almost breathtaking in its scale. Are you saying now that you believe that there are actually 4 criminal grand juries that are reviewing information about this and other things?
Yep. And there may be more. I can only find 4 now, but I get a sense that this investigation is incredibly sprawling. There are parts about January 6th. There are parts about election integrity. There are parts about Ukraine impeachment, Russia collusion, all the way up to Jack Smith and the raid on Donald Trump's house and the subsequent Jack Smith investigation. It is a very sprawling investigation. Where the grand juries gather evidence is not a sign of where the indictments will be. It's just the vehicles by which the strike force is quickly securing that evidence so it can't be destroyed and that they can get the ball moving quickly. But at least 4 grand juries that I've talked to people who have had contact with prosecutors in the last couple of weeks.
In some of these grand juries, given the fact that the Clinton Foundation is still going on, are the Clintons and their earlier actions actually part of this?
A question that we don't know. The people that I talked to were not getting subpoenas or being prepared for subpoenas about Clinton. They were prepared about Russia collusion, election integrity, Jack Smith, and things like that. But we'll learn more. Listen, there's a reason Kash Patel found that incredible timeline that we talked about Thursday. If you weren't looking at the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation, you wouldn't be looking for that timeline. So I think they're looking at everything, and then they're going to figure out what is a crime and then does it fit the conspiracy case. It's the way the Justice Department used to do investigations before the political hacks got in and turned it into a political machinery instead of a justice machinery.
Or was it Hoover? No, Jedgar. Yeah, that's right. FBI's kind of always been politicized. Anyways. Thoughts? Oh, there we go. Do you want to try that again?
Thoughts?
There we go. All right. So 4 grand juries that he knows of at this point in time, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. And I think that the reason for that is they got these main ones going on, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more kind of brewing just underneath the surface, getting ready to pop up, and it's going to be what the Democrats wanted to do to President Trump, but they were incapable of doing because they really couldn't find anything, especially they couldn't find anything that wasn't absolutely corrupted in so many ways. And the Democrats, the team blue type Democrats, not your regular Democrats, but the ones that, go team blue kind, they're the ones that, still, oh, he's a felon. But most people recognize that a lot of these things were trumped up charges. So we're going to see real lawsuits coming that are backed by solid government, solid legal cases that they're not going to be able to wiggle out of, because it has to be done. And if it's going to be done, it has to be done perfectly. All of the evidence has to be in place. And these grand juries are going to tell us a lot of what's going on. And once once the rats are scurrying, once these 4 grand juries say, yeah, this is worth coming to trial, I guarantee you there's going to be at least 17 more moving forward. So it's going to get hot and heavy here real fast. It may be hot this summer, but it's going to be real hot this coming fall. Carol says, if you call the Clinton Foundation phone number, it takes you to the children trafficking hotline. I wonder how that happened. Isn't that interesting? That's horrific and true. I'm glad that it is. It says that the Clinton Foundation their goose is already cooked, and that this is kind of a slap in the face, because I think Hill Dog just doesn't have the power if she's still on this plane of existence with us. Right. She doesn't have the power. Yeah, something. Who knows? I don't want them to have the death penalty. I want them to be, on some place where they have no ability to get away, and they have one TV that they all have to watch that shows how great the world is doing without them. Steph says, what do you want to bet Obama and Hillary will now shut up for their questioning?
Will not show up.
Will not shut up for the question.
Show up.
Oh, will not show up. Yeah, I think games are going to be played. In the
They're
end,
not even the real people walking around.
well, it doesn't seem like that. But what I will say is that I do believe Q is 100% accurate when they say that Obama is going to try to claim Kenyan citizenship. Will blow all of this. He doesn't even. That's a fraud, and fraud vitiates everything. That in and of itself should just nullify absolutely everything that happened under that clown's presidency or dictatorship for 8 years.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You ready?
Yeah.
Would you read that, please?
Trump and Putin say they've reached a general understanding. What's next?
Let's listen.
That's kind of last week's news, but that's fine.
Lots of news. Trump and Putin said they've reached a general understanding in Alaska. But here's what that actually means for the war in Ukraine. At Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, the two leaders met for hours behind closed doors, later joined by their top advisors, Marco Rubio and Steve Witkoff for the U.S., Sergei Lavrov and Yuri Yushkov for Russia. Putin called the talks constructive and mutually respectful, praised the U.S. for making sincere efforts to end the war, and claimed an understanding has been reached. But he offered no specifics. Trump didn't confirm a deal, but he was clear. I want the killing to stop. I want a ceasefire rapidly. I'm not here to negotiate for Ukraine. I'm here to get them at a table. He also said there will be no U.S.-Russia business until the war ends. They also discussed possible new arms control talks before the new START treaty expires in February, and Trump floated a trilateral meeting with Ukraine, maybe even back in Alaska. So here's what's next. Trump plans to call Ukrainian President Zelensky and European leaders to set up that three-way meeting. If it happens and the war finally starts to wind down, history may mark this Alaska summit as a turning point towards world peace. Much more to come. I have a lot of different angles to share about this meeting, so make sure you follow and stay tuned.
Thoughts?
All right, so there's a lot going on in the background, and we've kind of seen a little bit of news today in terms of NATO's trying to play some games, and we're going to get into a lot more. So I'm not going to go ahead and talk a whole lot here as we move on. But there was certainly a lot of there was a lot of negotiations about how the world is going to look between two of the world's superpowers, really, in the end. And I think that there was a lot of dealing with what is China's role in this, because Xi Jinping is certainly a threat to the world order in any number of ways, because they certainly seem to be heading towards an absolute world domination like some other historical figure in the past.
Yeah, you ready?
And us and the Russians have worked together in those kinds of scenarios before.
We have. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. Here's Putin and Trump as a B-2 flies over.
This is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And then the one guy wearing the CCP shirt,
Yeah.
CCCP.
Ready?
Yeah. We all got our patriotic chickens. Okay, are y'all going to talk about Melania's letter?
Not today.
Not today, apparently.
We got so much to go over.
All right.
Thoughts?
That was a fun piece. And I think that this was the actual clip that the left was using to say that Putin has a limp on him, but Putin's always had what looks like a limp. But keep in mind, he was a KGB agent. And so he always keeps his shooting hand right next to his leg, so that way he can draw faster. So Putin has built this walk since he was a young man as a very fresh KGB agent, and it has just continued throughout his entire life.
The media is just dumb.
Well, they gotta make it sound like everybody's frail, because they keep talking about the swelling in Trump's legs. Oh, it's all of these things. The sky is falling. The sky.
He's losing it.
Yeah, I know.
Clowns.
No, I don't have my clown things up.
Yeah.
There we
You
go.
ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Steve Bannon warns of 2 risks from Ukraine-Russia peace negotiations.
I really
Just
want
2?
I really want your opinion on this one. Let's listen.
All right.
Offer advice to President Trump is to avoid 2 things. One, a huge underwriting commitment to the redevelopment of Ukraine. We have more than over $37 trillion in debt and $2 trillion deficits and no end in sight. And inflation, the inflation that's there, driven not by tariffs, but driven by the Keynesian stimulus we still put in with these deficits, and with Congress refusing to consider rescissions or pocket rescissions or impoundments, that this orgy of spending just continues on and on and on. That we have to avoid us stepping up and being a major commitment, and even American financial institutions. Their focus should be the United States of America. We have more than enough need for development in this country, tremendous needs for development in this country. You don't need to look in Europe, and particularly in Ukraine, for the United States to be involved. And not just the development guarantees and the capital guarantees, even darker are what we call security guarantees. Security guarantees essentially mean American, not just arms, but American troops. Now, maybe it starts off American troops aren't there, but you set up a tripwire like it'd be tantamount to including Ukraine in NATO as an Article 5 country if the Russians would do anything in the future. So a security guarantee and any type of economic guarantees, we really have to fight to make sure that we don't get entrapped further. Remember, the whole purpose of America First is to get out of these entanglements, to let the Europeans and the Russians figure it out. I'm an advocate that after this deal is done, I don't even know why we have any more combat troops in Europe. World War II is over. This is the 80th commemoration. You put this part of the war to bed. There's no need for American combat troops in Germany, the tens of thousands of combat troops we have. We have more than enough needs for hemispheric defense throughout the cities of the United States, the border of the United States, down in Panama, taking back the Panama Canal in the Pacific, in our territories, not in foreign territories, but in our territories as rapid deployment forces. This should be the focus.
Before you say anything, real quick, I want to play this next one.
Okay, because I had something specific about what he was talking about there.
I know. Can you hold it?
Maybe. We'll see.
Would you read that real quick?
Certainly. President Trump gives his assurance of no U.S. troops on the ground in Ukraine.
Let's listen.
All right, that's a good follow-up, I guess.
What kind of assurances do you feel like you have that going forward and, past this Trump administration, it won't be American boots on the ground defending that border?
Well, you have my assurance, I'm president, and I'm just trying to stop people from being killed, Charlie. Look, they're losing from 5,000 to 7,000 people a week.
Okay, thoughts?
Okay, so there's a lot going on here. As far as troops on boots on the ground, I don't think we're going to put any more boots on the ground than what we have already put, because I know that during the Biden coup regime that was going on previously, that there were SOF people out there in Ukraine, advising and the things that special operations people do. But I don't think that we're going to put any more people if those people are still even there. The war of attrition that's going on that Russia has been conducting against Ukraine has taken away the Ukrainian people's will to continue to fight against Russia, and that they're tired of it, and that the people they are avoiding military service in Ukraine. And Zelensky is painted himself into a corner, and that's the point of all of this. But and I agree that we don't need the forces that we have in the amount of forces that we have in all of these nations around the world. But I do agree that we do need some kind of unit in all of these places that we do have. And it is a historical precedent, because if you think about it, where's most of our military army bases at? They're in the South. How long do you think those bases have been in the South? Since the Civil War. The military has a long memory, and it sticks around, and they put bases in places where there are lots of problems historically. And once you have that presence in those locations, you're going to keep that military presence there. Now, I have email. You've got mail. I'll have to check that in a minute. Anyway, so it's one of those things that is going to, what we see happening in the future with our military and where we end up having troops, and how and what that manpower is at each one of these locations, I think is going to be more indicative as to what our foreign policy is going to be in the future. Keep in mind, there's 2 rifle companies in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. That's really all that needs to be in Cuba. Of course, keep in mind, Cuba was a coaling station, and Cuba is strategically important to have that base in Guantanamo Bay, more than just having a whole bunch of treasonous clowns out there. But it's important for us to maintain a presence in places like Germany and all of the other nations that we do have, because it allows for cooperation and cross-training with these other nations to get us used to the concept of having our people in different climates. One of the beautiful things about America is we have all of the climates within our own borders, but it's not the same as going to Norway. Yeah, you can go to Alaska and get some Arctic training, but it's not the same as going to Norway, because it's going to be different altogether, and we get to learn other things. So how this is going to be played out is going to be very interesting, but it will be very indicative as to what our foreign policy will be moving forward. And hopefully it'll be less of being the world's policeman, but being there to support anybody that we consider allies. And as far as any kind of deals and putting finances into Ukraine afterwards, I believe that that's going to happen, because we are a nation of capitalists. and raising capital in a country. The Rothschilds, Baron de Rothschild wasn't wrong when he said, when there's blood in the streets, it's time to invest. Well, they've had a lot of blood in the streets in Ukraine for way too long, and the loss of life is terrible, but that does not mean that businesses aren't going to move in, and it doesn't mean that there isn't opportunities with which or that the blah, 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 words are hard. It does not mean that there won't be tons of opportunities for wealth generation moving in the future. And I think that these are one of the things that Trump and Putin were talking about, as sadly they were probably divvying up what's going to be left of Ukraine after Zelensky will probably peacefully bow out in the future, I think is how this one's going to work out. That's what the crystal ball is saying.
If you could pull up your email real quick and pull up that letter, I got the letter for you.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
And add it to the screen so we can go over
Thank you for your patience while I do the interwebs. All right. First Lady Melania Trump's peace letter to Putin. It is time. Let's
go down.
Yep, going down.
Right there. Whoa.
Okay. Dear President Putin, the First Lady's letter begins. Every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation's rustic countryside or a magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. As parents, it's our duty to nurture the next generation's hope. As leaders, the responsibility to sustain our children extends beyond the comfort of a few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint a dignity-filled world for all, so that every soul may wake to peace, and so that the future itself is perfectly guarded. A simple yet profound concept, Mr. Putin, as I am sure you agree, is that each generation's descendants begin their lives with a purity and innocence which stands above geography, government, and ideology. What's that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In today's world, some children are forced to carry a quiet laughter, untouched by the darkness around them, a silent defiance against the forces that can potentially claim their future. Mr. Putin, you can single-handedly restore their melodic laughter in protecting the innocence of these children. You will do more than serve Russia alone. You serve humanity itself. Such a bold idea transcends all human division, and you, Mr. Putin, are fit to implement the vision with the stroke of the pen today. It is time. Wow. That's amazing. It brings makes me get all choked up. That's wow. That nothing that Mrs. Biden ever could have written.
Well, no.
Yeah, powerful letter, and it speaks to the human soul. And I think that that's the difference when if we were to actually listen to the real Donald Trump, as opposed to the character of Donald Trump, President Trump, that we have curated for us by all of the news outlets. This is the kind of person that the Trumps truly are. And these are the kind of people that are leading our nation. And this kind of heartfelt guidance that each and every person is a soul, that they are a human being, and that they have their own dreams and desires are the things that truly speak to what humanity is. And if we can get our politicians to understand that we're not just free-range tax chickens to enrich our politicians around the country, then we would all have the opportunity to allow our soul to rise, and that love could be spread around the world. And these are the kinds of things that we need to have moving forward in the world around us. But we can't get there until we get past the deceptions, but past the lies of that very swamp creature that has prevented President Trump from being able to be the exact president that we would all love to see, but we haven't had the opportunity to. So kudos to the First Lady for writing a letter that speaks to the heart and soul of every human being on this planet, because it's exactly the kind of letter that we need to move forward, to live in the kind of world that we deserve to live in, that we were all born to live in under the plan of what God had always intended for us.
Amen. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
Thank you all for pressing that we get that letter on here today.
Yes.
All right, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Go at God's pace, not yours.
All right.
Let's listen.
All right.
I can't speed up what God is doing. So what happens is we get up here, and even I'm trying to start running, and I'm gonna hurt myself trying to run when God told me to walk. And I'm trying to ask you, what area of your life are you running in and God said walk? It's gonna happen. You're gonna get to 7 miles. You're gonna get, but every lap, I want you to obey me. Every lap, yeah, I know you want your husband, but you're 26, and you said, I'd never be 26 and not be married. He said, yeah, if you walk at this pace, I'm gonna work everything out of you, the hurts, all that stuff. It'll be 36 when you get married, but do you want to set the pace, or do you want me to set it? Because you can get married and get divorced, and my plan will still come to pass by 36. You'll just be more scarred and more broken and more hurt. He said, but I don't want you to go through that. So if you let me set the pace, well, God, he is fine. He said, please let me set the pace. Please don't compare yourself to other people. Let me do it. Yeah, you're going to be that CEO. But what if he wants to work on your character for 5 years? What if he wants to build a foundation in your family that is strong enough to take wealth? I thought about this the other day. So many people lose their health trying to get money, and they have to pay for their health. Like the money you made to try, you work yourself into something that's going to take the money you had to work for. God's saying, I came to give you life, and life to the full. I don't want you. I came to give you life and no sorrow with it. But you got to go at the pace of grace.
The pace of grace.
And this speaks exactly to
Thoughts?
the lesson plan that we're doing regarding Joseph. Everything that Joseph went through, it was certainly in God's pace. His brothers sold him into slavery, and he was working for Potiphar, an Egyptian. And then what happened? He got put in jail because Potiphar's wife decided that she was going to be a clown and tried to make a move on him. And Joseph, getting lost here. Anyways, and he had to go to jail at that point in
And
time.
Potiphar could have executed him, but I don't think
But he didn't.
Potiphar believed his wife.
Right. And so then he was in prison. Not only was he a slave, he was a slave in prison. And then what happens? And then he gets called up by the Pharaoh, and he ends up saving the entirety of Egypt, and his family has to come down and ask.
And his brothers bow down to him like his dream.
Because
Look,
they didn't
there
like his
comes
dream
that
or his
crazy
jacket.
dreamer.
Here's that crazy dreamer with his silly jacket. And yet it was all in God's timing. And in God's timing is exactly what this is getting at. Nothing is going at the pace that we would like it to. It's not about us. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about any one human being. It's about God's will. And so we have to have that patience, and we need to take that step back and recognize the signs and symbols or dreams or whatever that we're being given, so that way we can move forward at the pace God wants it, because it is his divine timing, and he has about 8 billion people that he's trying to work together in conjunction. And so that's the only way that it can happen properly, is in God's divine timing. Steph says, my grace is sufficient. The Lord said, yes, it is.
Yes. And I say it all the time. God is not done writing your story. Stop trying to steal the pen. Trust the author.
Yep.
So, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. It's our man Cash. Oh, shoot. Got to get my eyeballs to work there. All right. Cash Patel says, step 1 is cleaning house inside the walls of Hoover.
Listen.
All right.
Sean, I was blown away but sadly, it's come to be expected in this town when corrupt bureaucrats weaponize and destroy law enforcement like predecessors of mine did at the FBI. And thankfully, Donald Trump's mandate and election victory was for transparency and accountability. Sean, just think about this for a second. Not only did we expose the Russiagate hoax with the greats like Devin and Trey and Johnny Ratcliffe when we were back there in the House Intel Committee excavating and exposing the FISA abuses, the corruption of political parties, and the lies to a federal court just to illegally surveil a presidential candidate. I come in then years later, nearly a decade as a director of the FBI, thinking we uncovered most of it. But sadly, we found a room locked away in the Hoover building that contained burn bags. And just for your audience, Sean, a burn bag is a government bag that is specifically created to destroy classified evidence and shred and burn it, hence the name burn bag. We didn't find one, we found 7. That wasn't the only thing we found in there. We found hard drives from our predecessors and prior FBI leadership, and folks like Page, Strzok, Comey, McCabe, Comey, the list goes on from Russiagate. The names were strewn all over these materials. Now, as our great attorney general just told you, we can't deny or confirm what we're looking at, but what we can discuss is what we've publicly disclosed. And these documents have been publicly disclosed because the greatest way to educate and bring along the American public for transparency, initiative, and accountability under President Trump is to give them the documents. And step 1 is by cleaning house inside the walls of Hoover.
Thoughts?
So we all knew that that had to happen, that inside of the walls of the Hoover building are exactly what needed to be cleaned out. The convenient room that they found with all of the burn bags full of evidence certainly was helpful for helping figure out everything that was going on inside of the Hoover building. It'll also be extremely helpful for trying to find out who the swamp creatures were, I'm going to go with, at this point in time, within those walls. And once that house cleaning is done, and we've been seeing that happen more and more, it's been amazing that there haven't been too many leaks coming out of any of the administration, and that the people on the left and around the globe keep getting surprised, and the press certainly isn't having a source inside of the FBI, a source inside of the CIA. We're not hearing that anymore. And so it sounds like that house cleaning really has been happening. But who better to do the house cleaning than somebody that was once the head of the, that was once the director of counterintelligence for this nation? That's the perfect person to clean house of all of the spies and treasonous clowns that have been spread throughout for so long. But the good thing is that as these grand juries have started to fire up, 4 of them as of now, those grand juries will get more of the truth, and more of the corruption will continue to be found. It is a snowball kind of effect that once it starts going down the hill, it will eventually gather into an avalanche, and an avalanche cannot be stopped. And so this is what we're seeing, and it's only going to get better and better as we move forward. And thanks be to God, he gave us somebody like Kash Patel that cares about this nation and is cleaning this house that desperately needed some house cleaning, because we've had some hoarders in the government for a long time, and their days are numbered.
Yeah, very much so. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
All righty. Geraldo Rivera rips Democrats for automatically criticizing everything Trump says and does.
Let's listen.
If your philosophy and if your position is that the president is always wrong, sometimes you have to do real mental and physical gymnastics to say that you're on the side of the people who care about law and order. You just because it's Trump's idea doesn't make it bad. I think that I would love that to now be, like, for instance, this Putin summit that's coming up. I would love for the Democrats to be cheering the president on rather than criticizing everything, almost by rote. If Trump says it, then the deranged, the syndrome says that it's bad. And I think that we need a lot more cooperation. There's plenty to criticize. For instance, in the LA deployment of the military, I thought it was way too much. too soon. And, there are now a handful of federal agents and soldiers on the ground in L.A. There were thousands just several weeks ago. So, what Trump does is not always right, but it's not always wrong. And I think the Democrats really have to recognize that.
Yeah. Thoughts?
All right. So it's interesting to hear Geraldo Rivera because he did his best on Fox News to maintain the left perspective to the bitter end. And that's who he was. And that was his job. And he did it to the best of his ability. It would be actually an awful job. But now we're hearing Geraldo Rivera point out the ridiculousness and lack of logic of just assuming that absolutely everything that Trump does is bad. It has to be exhausting to always try to find something that is wrong with anything that Trump does. But now even the foundation of what has supported the Democratic Party this entire time is now saying, we got to be sane at some point in time. And he was so close to saying Trump derangement syndrome, but he did say derangement syndrome. But really that's what it is. I was just trying to look that up, pejorative term. I'm trying to figure out if they've actually said that's an actual thing. But in the end, it is real, whether or not academia believes that Trump derangement syndrome is real or not. We know that it is an actual thing. That's why we watch it. And even Geraldo Rivera is calling it out. What happened to who?
Geraldo.
He didn't find the stuff in Capone's vault. I don't know. He hasn't been the same ever since.
Right?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. I remember watching that show.
Would you read that, please?
Yeah. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte completely obliterated the Democrat narrative about Trump.
Let's listen.
All right.
Let me first say that this was a very successful day. And I agree with you that President Trump is a pragmatic peacemaker, as you, I think, said. What he did this year, breaking the deadlock, starting the conversation with Putin, but also putting pressure. We have had the NATO summit, the 5%, which was a big foreign policy success of President Trump. And then he decided to, again, have lethal weapons go into Ukraine paid for by the Europeans. And he put secondary sanctions, tariffs on India. So he's putting pressure, but he is also looking for ways to solve this, to bring this war to an end. So today was very successful. We discussed the security guarantees. We will work on those over the coming days and then have another meeting virtually with this group of leaders and the president. And then we will work towards this trilateral. And he was able, in a conversation with President Putin, to have Putin to agree to first a meeting between Putin and Zelensky. So they will now discuss where that meeting will take place in the run-up to the trilateral. So all in all, a very successful day.
Thoughts?
Sounds like what was he? Secretary General was very impressed with President Trump, and that is a good thing. It's nice to hear NATO actually saying good things about Trump. And it also says that a lot of the corruption that was NATO is kind of getting cleaned out as well. But if we go back to President Trump's first presidency, we see that he had a very different NATO back then, as well as the European Union, all of which seem to be much more supportive of everything that President Trump is doing. But I think house cleaning has been happening over in Europe in the background for so long, but Europe has such a long way to go because they've been getting invaded by the Middle Eastern nations for oh so long. I mean, after all, London is now called Londonistan, and that is something, it's a much more precarious situation over in Europe, but if Europe is actually starting to be supportive of Trump, then it seems like that there's going to be a house cleaning that happens in Europe next. But this is all going to play out the way it does. And it seems like NATO is going to certainly be doing its part to make sure that we don't go into World War III, which is one of the problems that NATO has gone to, because they've always been an arm of, I guess, the military industrial complex. After all, what's the point of having a war kind of organization if there's no wars? So it's nice to see that they're actually talking about peace. Silver says, how are they ignoring Trump has stopped 6 wars in 6 months? Well, because they're focusing on the here and now, and they're hoping that they can really kick off this war over in Ukraine. But that's not going to happen either. So, yeah, the press is still going to press the things that they are, but that's also the reason why we keep hearing in the background that Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize, which is kind of where we're going to be going with all that. They don't even know. Calbear agrees. That blows my mind.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Got some Willie from Duck Dynasty. Let's listen.
Willie's awesome.
You work for God. You work for God. And then you let God tell you where that is. Read the Bible. I think about it like God's like corporate. Jesus hired me. I was like, I'm in, but he's not here. But he said, don't worry, because your work wife's going to be the Holy Spirit. That's who's going to be with you all the time. Even if you work from home, even when you go home. And so I'm working with the Holy Spirit all the time.
Thoughts?
The Holy Spirit is the one that guides us. The Holy Spirit is the one. I mean, we forget to pray to the Holy Spirit a lot of the times because it's usually focused on the Father or the Son. But we can't forget the Holy Spirit because, like you said, Holy Spirit's kind of like your work wife, going to be there and help you as you're going through all these things that you got to be doing too. So yeah, don't neglect the Holy Spirit.
Exactly. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
All righty. Illegal alien gang members are getting busted in blue states.
Yeah.
Thinking out loud, that scare necessary event. Maybe
You want to read that out loud?
Okay. I'm thinking out loud. The scare event is necessary. Maybe a World War III scare and Trump shuts it down. We've been really close to that potentiality. I think that our greatest likelihood of that is either going to be Israel, and it will probably involve China some way, somehow.
Yeah.
And if we'll get into that some other time, but I do believe that that it could very well be the scary event.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
Hey guys, good morning. So yeah, we went out with the Nassau County Gang Investigation Squad last night. They've made dozens of arrests over the past few nights, including several gang members, even MS-13, who are in the country illegally. Now, last night was a little bit slower, but we did see the arrest of one man who police say is a known gang member. Take a look.
We did a detailed investigation on this vehicle. Inside, we have about 7 grams of cocaine. The driver of the vehicle is a Trinitario gang member. No one identified Trinitario gang member.
But he didn't want to talk to us. Sir, do you deny being a gang member? Nothing? Anything you want to say for yourself? Do you deny the charges against you? What's the cocaine for? For you? For selling?
This would be the drugs right here. Also contained in the car, we have more packaging. Obviously, these are empty baggies for the cocaine when they sell it. And these are the drugs that we have here.
Yeah, and they've made dozens of busts over the past few days. And earlier this month, Nassau County Police arrested these 3 illegal migrants accused of being MS-13 gang members. They're charged with a combined 14 counts of attempted murder and 49 counts of assault. ICE lodged immigration detainers against each of them. And Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman said about working with ICE, quote, "These relationships materially helps us incarcerate and deport dangerous criminals that prey on our communities. And as a result, we are the safest county in America." Now, so far during President Donald Trump's second term, ICE has arrested 1,600 criminal illegal migrants here on Long Island, and about 50 more have been handed over to ICE by Nassau County Police as the cooperation with federal immigration enforcement continues to be strong during the second Trump administration. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thoughts?
I mean, it's bound to happen at some point in time that in the bluest of blue states and the bluest of blue cities, we'll end up having the crackdowns on the illegal aliens. It's, just kind of the course of the way things work. Of course, we've seen a lot of the busts out in LA and now in New York, and we'll see them continue to happen all across the nation as they continue to get some of these people who are trying to step up into the places of the people who have been arrested because they've been plucking out some of the more key players. Also, they've been going after the cartels down in South and Central America. And so there's a lot of disarray, but the business operation is going to have to continue to go on. And as they take away the people who have been the primary motivators and the primary thinkers of the people who have been running these organizations, the people who are a little bit more sloppy, but have been around for a long time and are taking these places of these people, it's going to make it so that way they are even less professional about doing their business the way that they've been doing their business. So we're going to see more and more of these kinds of arrests moving forward in the future, and it's going to gain a critical mass, kind of like that avalanche that I was talking about earlier. It's just more and more is going to happen, and fewer people are going to be able to step up and do the jobs that was capable of being done by the people that they've been taken down at the top, and it's just going to clean house a lot more, and ICE is going to be more and more effective every single day because of this. Cal Bear says the whole country is filled with illegals. Yes, and fewer every day. 20 million, 50 million. I'm my personal guess. I know she was asking Cal Bear, but my guess is probably closer to the 50 million.
Yeah, if not more.
Right. Cleanup coming to a city near you. Eventually it will.
Yeah.
Our city needs it. Yeah, well, a lot of cities need it. Cal Bear, Mike says, yes, and I voted to send all 50 million plus home. I think we all did.
Mm-hmm.
My sister works at a place in Minneapolis, and it's 99% Somalians, in which case a lot of that is because they were invited over during the Oblammer, the Barry Soetoro administration.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. We ready? Yep.
Would you read that, please?
All righty, here we go. Democrats are pro-war, pro-crime, pro-illegals, and it's worse than that.
Let's listen.
Surprise.
And now they're the pro-war party, right? This is the Democrats. Give
Right.
war a chance.
Well, there's a pro-war party. There's a pro-criminal party. There's a pro-illegal immigrant party. It's called the Democrat Party. I mean, you can say it's Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, it's obvious, clean, safe streets, peace. All of these things are obviously very good for the American people. But if Democrats have obviously decided that if Trump's for it, it must be bad because Orange Man bad. But I think it's more than that, Laura. I think it's more than just derangement. I think it's a cold, calculating, cynical ploy by Democrats because they realize that Trump's an existential threat to their power. Let me explain. The MO of Democrats for many years is to create these bureaucracies and these processes by which they can actually gain power as a party, but not solve any problems for the American people. Think of the Department of Education. So they create these processes and bureaucracies, and for those things to continue to undergird the party with power and money, they have to keep the problems going, whether it's crime, whether it's illegal immigration, whether it's illiteracy.
Thoughts?
I mean, it's part of the Rockefeller system that's been around. They wanted a bunch of people who just nod their head up and down like a bobblehead, like they're supposed to. That's all they do is they just agree with what the TV tells them all the time. And they don't know how to think for themselves because they just agree with what they're told, whether it's pro-war, pro-illegal immigration, pro anything that is against anything that they ever have to say or do. And more people are waking up to that concept, because they recognize, oh, you want me to go to war. I remember all of these women have been asking for equality, equality, equality. Then we start talking about, well, now you get to apply. Now you have to apply for selective service. Hold on. I don't want to get drafted. Oh, now all of a sudden it makes sense to you, everything that the people on the right were saying. And so these are more and more of the things that have to happen. And as the Democrat Party becomes a caricature of what it once was, it is becoming more and more apparent to people that they don't want anything to do with what they have to say, because they are pro everything that is anti anything that was ever supposed to be the American experiment. But that's also the very reason why the American dream isn't attainable for so many people, and it hasn't been for oh so long.
Yeah.
Just because the Democrat Party and not just the Democrat Party, but also the clowns on the right who agree with them, the rhinos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Mhm.
Let's listen.
Jesus is saying to you right now, my child, I know it's been heavy lately. You've been walking through things and that no one else even sees, but I've seen every tear. I've heard every silent prayer, and I've counted every moment you chose to keep going, even when giving up would have been easier. I am not blind to your pain. I am not far from your struggle. I'm right here, closer than your next breath. The Bible says in Psalm 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So breathe, not because the storm is over, but because I'm in the boat with you. You are not losing. You are being led through this valley into something deeper, something greater than what you can see. You are not stuck. You are being still because I'm teaching your heart to trust, even in the quiet. I'm turning your waiting into strength, your weakness into testimony, and your pain into purpose. So don't run. Don't fear. Your story isn't ending. It's just beginning. If this touched your spirit, type amen.
Thoughts?
All right. It is the perseverance that we get through these challenges in life. And we have to understand, and she kind of said that Jesus is in the boat with us. He might be sleeping in the back because he knows that there's nothing to worry about. If he was worried about something, he'd be up there doing something about it. Everybody was freaking out. He rebuked the storm and the waves simmered down, and they were absolutely in disbelief, actually in more belief that he is the Son of Man, because he rebuked the storm and the seas. And so we just have to have that faith and know that it is for our good to build us that character. That perseverance builds strength within us.
Absolutely. Because we all go through storms and
Mhm.
struggles. And it's been a storm lately.
For
And
everybody.
yeah, and not just us. Everybody's going through a storm.
Mhm.
So just know that he's right there with you.
He is.
You ready?
Yep.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. If you live in California and you're still voting for Democrats, you're an idiot.
Let's listen.
Rather than focusing on actually fixing homelessness, Gavin Newsom and the Democrats, Karen Bass, are out there promoting more illegals, attacking ICE. Instead of dealing with this, Skid Row and every major Democrat city in America, they continue this. They invite more of this. They spend billions and billions of dollars to pay so-called homeless advocacy groups just to keep people homeless. Because they don't actually do anything to stop the cycle. They just keep people homeless. They keep giving them tents. They keep giving them money. I'm just talking about how the government always talks about doing things to help and they never do. and they're out there protecting illegals instead of American citizens. You agree? Yeah. It's crazy, huh? Yeah. God bless you, man. You out here? Yeah. How long you been out here? About 13 years. 13 years. It's like that. He didn't want to be on camera, but the guy lives it. He's been out here 13 years. You see all these people wearing the same shirts with their clipboards out here pretending like they're doing something to help somebody. These homeless advocates doing absolutely nothing. So these guys now, because the city won't actually protect them, now this business has to hire this company to come and create this artificial wall outside of their property because the homelessness, the encampment, was up on their wall. I mean, this is Democrat logic for you. So this business here is just trying to run their business. They can't get the city to remove the bums in the tents. So what do they have to do? They have to build a wall, another fence around their building just to give them some space. But you still have to navigate the tents and the bums to get here. I mean, look at this sidewalk. Imagine being handicapped and you're trying to get down this sidewalk. This is LA. That's downtown LA for you right there. It's right there. It's everywhere down here. Instead of fixing the problem, you got to hire these guys to come put a fence around your building to keep the homeless out of it. That's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. While the Palisades were burning down, we had Democrats in LA worried about illegal aliens and keeping bums out on the streets. Instead of getting bums off the streets and helping people get a better life, they're worried about protecting illegals, not stopping fires, not putting American citizens first, protecting illegals. That's what Democrats care about. That's their priority. And sadly, many of the people in the Palisades are living like this now too, because they can't get the permits to build their damn houses because of the same bureaucrats. If you live in California and you still vote for Democrats, well, you're probably either a criminal or you're an illegal. That's the only thing I can think. If you're a sane person in California that actually works for a living and you're still voting for Democrats, you're an idiot.
Thoughts?
All right. So the Ron Beasley Wellness Center is actually a mental health facility, and they're obviously trying to keep people out. I can't confirm anything, but I know that a lot of the people in LA were certainly the people that were against building the wall, yet here we are building walls in LA. When that very facility is designed to help the people that are probably camped out right in front of their front door because they need that kind of help. It's ridiculous. And the man was speaking a lot of truth that they are spending money on supporting the things that don't need to be supported when the state is on fire, when there's water problems, when there's all of these issues that could easily be dealt with. It's not happening. But the things that happen are the building of walls. I mean, shoot, even we heard about how the celebs are putting moats around their house anymore. And I know that it's absolutely ridiculous because that's not going to stop anybody from getting to somebody's house. Maybe they could put alligators around in their moat or something like that.
Sharks with laser beams.
Sharks with laser beams around their house. But either way, it's the kinds of things that aren't helpful. It's not helping anything when it's the people that have been there. That man said he was living out there for 12 years. 13 years? Come on, do better. The billions and billions of dollars that state has, as they talk about how they're, so much better than the rest of the nation, and yet these are the problems that are all over the place. It's really hypocritical to say that they're any kind of an example for anything that is what America should be when they have to clean up the streets because Xi Jinping, a communist leader from a foreign nation, shows up, but otherwise they don't care.
Right. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Disgusting.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. All right, here we go. Lifelong Alaskan is grateful for President Donald Trump.
Let's listen.
All righty.
Yeah, first of all, why'd you decide to come out today? How do you feel? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so I'm extremely grateful to be an American. I'm a lifelong Alaskan, and I love my state. I love my country. I always think it's a great opportunity when colleagues and myself and other patriots all across the state of Alaska get to come together and to support our president and to issues that are important to us.
Do you have any thoughts about the summit today and kind of any hopes or like what you want them to achieve?
Yeah, I'm really looking for good dialogue. amongst both presidents. I'm looking for a conversation that ends in peace and prosperity for all nations, right? I think President Trump has been a really amazing world leader in terms of getting peace among the world. And that's what I think all Americans are looking for, regardless if you're a Republican or Democrat.
What did you feel when you first heard that the summit would be happening here in Anchorage in your city?
Well, as a lifelong Alaskan, whenever there's an opportunity for a world leader to come to your state, you're extremely grateful and excited, no matter who it is. The fact that it's President Donald J. Trump, who I cast my vote for both times, I'm extremely excited that he's here.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
You're so
Could I have
welcome.
your name?
Yep, Portia Erickson.
Can you spell it?
PortiaEricson.
Okay, you're local.
Yeah, lifelong Alaskan.
Can I have your age? Sorry, we usually ask that.
I'm 35.
Sorry?
35.
35. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Have a good day.
I hope that your time in Alaska goes well.
It's
You
going
get to
really well.
enjoy some-
I'm really enjoying it.
and
Yeah.
some fun activities, maybe?
Yeah, hopefully
You
after.
get to go to up north or further south?
Yeah, hopefully this weekend.
Thoughts?
That's pretty cool. Boy, they're super excited up there. Of course, I can't imagine that too many presidents or world leaders spend their time going up to Alaska. They don't have enough electoral votes, so you can't waste your time on the whistle stop tour going to Alaska, which is pretty pitiful. But I know it's a beautiful state and it's worth looking at. It's
In the summer.
and there's the reason why we don't go there.
You ready?
Yeah.
How about some Craig?
All right.
Let's listen.
The best way to find God's will for your future is to live faithfully for Jesus today. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. God's will is not as much about a do as it is a who. And the better you get to know him and the more faithfully you live for him today, the more confidence that you could have he's going to lead you to where he wants you to be tomorrow.
Thoughts?
Craig, just saying how it is. We got to follow him as best as we can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's hard and you're going to make mistakes. Don't dwell on it and move forward.
There you go.
Ready?
And thanks for the thumbs down, whoever did that. I appreciate it. It's engagement either way.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
All righty. American woman disgusted with what she found in her Costco salmon. That doesn't even look like this. What?
I don't know what that is.
That don't look like no salmon.
Let's watch.
All right.
So yesterday, my family and I went to Costco and we bought fresh wild sockeye salmon fillets. Okay, we just bought one pack of them. And when you get it out of the refrigerated section, obviously it's very, very cold. So as salmon sits out for a little bit, it obviously warms up a little bit. So our drive was a little over an hour home. So by the time we got home, it wasn't super, super cold anymore. Guess what starts popping out of the salmon when we got home? I really wish I was lying. If you are squeamish, if you have a sensitive tummy in any way, that was your warning. Here's the fresh salmon, fresh wild sockeye salmon. Sell by date is August 14th, and we bought this yesterday. So today is, I think, the 12th. I don't even know. Anyway, so I let this sit out all night because by the time I saw the first couple little parasites sticking out, I was like, obviously not going to eat it. So I left it sitting out all night so that I could see how many more popped up. Are you ready? Focus. There's one. Look at it's moving. There's two more. This area right here has so many, I can't even count them. It just keeps going. And they're all in like this groove right here. There's one right there. One right there. All in this little groove. And there's a big one. Oh, he moved. Well, there was, oh, it's right there. See it? See it moving? Look. Oh my God, that is so nasty. There are so, oh my God. Anyways, there are so many
This one up here had a few, but not many. So I'm gonna actually go throw this away now because you're starting to be able to like
Get back.
Sick. So nasty.
Wait for the camera.
You know what? My ass would be going back to Costco with their worm freaking salmon and getting my almost $36 back. Thoughts?
Extra protein.
You wouldn't eat that.
There ain't no way. It's not sockeye salmon. It's worm eye salmon.
I'd be going back. I would be going back.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
You ready?
Ugh.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. Medicare and the whole insurance industrial complex are literally trying to kill us.
Let's watch.
You don't want to know why something isn't covered by insurance that you think might help you, or your doctor thinks might help you, or it's an alternative. I'm going to read you this. This is Medicare Guidelines, Section 2251.3. I'm quoting this to you. A treatment plan that seeks to prevent disease and enhance the quality of life, or therapy that is performed to maintain or prevent deterioration of a chronic disease, is deemed not medically necessary. I'm going to read this to you again. A treatment plan that seeks to prevent disease. That sounds like a good idea, right? A treatment plan designed to prevent disease. Or enhance the quality of life. Also sounds like a good idea. Or a therapy that is performed to maintain or prevent deterioration of a chronic disease. So if you already have a disease and we're trying to prevent it from getting worse, all these things that I just mentioned are deemed by Medicare not medically necessary. So when you go to comment on a post like I might make or some other providers might make, and you're going to go, oh, I don't believe it because if it's not covered by my insurance, I don't believe it's worthwhile. This is Medicare guidelines. And most insurances, if you don't know, some people will comment on this and say, absolutely, this is the way it is. People who are in the insurance business know what Medicare decides sooner or later will be what other insurance companies decide to do. Medicare sort of sets the table and everybody else sort of just follows along, comes to dinner. Bottom line is, just because it's not covered doesn't mean it's not good. It just means that they consider it not medically necessary. Anyway, let me know in your comments what you think of this. Put it in the comments below. Go ahead, write it down there. Dr. Dave Morris at Magnolia Medical Center here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Take care today.
Thoughts?
Surprised the insurance companies or Medicare don't actually care. Insurance companies. Yeah, insurance companies and
Are you
Medicare
shocked?
don't care. No. Are any of y'all shocked? I know I'm not shocked.
I'm not shocked.
All right, moving on.
You ready?
Don't eat the salmon. That
Yeah.
way you won't need it.
Right? Let's listen.
All right.
Can you encourage yourself until you can see what you've been praying for? Can you encourage yourself until it's your time? Just because you're not in possession of the position doesn't mean the position won't be in your possession.
Thoughts?
We got to work for the Lord. That's the point of the whole thing is we have to actually work for God and nobody
Like
else.
Willie was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one of the points I wanted to get to, but so much stuff is going on. What? No, I'm glad you brought that up because it brought it kind of full circle. But anyways, our job is to work for God. It's really what it is, and He will give us the things that we want in life, provided that we're actually working for Him. Yeah, we love our spouses, our significant others, but anything that we do, we're supposed to do it for God, because if we get everything crossed and everything, then we've actually made those things our idol. And so, if it's that promotion or whatever the case is that you're working for, make sure that it's not your idol, and then that you're actually doing whatever it is your absolute best could be, because you're doing it for the Lord.
Yeah. You
And
ready?
then He will provide in due time. No,
You ready?
yes.
Okay. Would you read that, please?
Ready. All right. Are we any closer to somebody going to jail?
Let's listen.
All right.
Are we any closer to
anybody going to jail?
As it relates to the Clintons, and of course, I always predicate this. I'm not a lawyer. But what I would say is part of the challenge with those financial crimes is the issue of statute of limitations. But when it comes to the cover-up, I think you have some real possibilities there from a criminal standpoint. I think it's great that Congressman Comer's committee subpoenaed the Clintons. They're going to be coming in under oath to be asked about, I think, a wide variety of questions.
Do you think they actually are going? Do you think they actually go? Seriously.
I think Bill Clinton is going to claim executive privilege, which he really can't because this all happened after he was president. That will be tied him in the courts. I think Hillary Clinton will probably have to show up. I think she has more, constitutional responsibilities to do that than Bill Clinton does as the next president. And I think she's probably going to get more of what we've got in testimony in the past, which is I don't recall. I don't remember pleading the fifth.
What difference does it make?
Thoughts?
They're no spring chickens anymore. And Slick Willie's not going to have the ability, the mental acuity to be able to play the games that he did during the Lewinsky scandal with, it depends on what your definition of is. One of the classics that Clinton gave that made it so that way he could weasel his way out of the justice that was certainly knocking at his door. And Hillary Clinton doesn't have the power that she had to say at this point, what difference does it make? Because it still makes a huge difference. And we all know that Barry, we're not hearing his name as much, but I'm sure that it's going to be coming around soon because he was the one leading it. And I have the feeling the Clintons are going to try to shuck that power or that blame off on Barry as much as they can. But we'll see how it all plays out. But they just don't have the ability to pull the stunts that they used to have because their power base is gone. The Mockingbird media has lost so much of the money to be able to do the things that they used to do because organizations like USAID don't exist. And those billions of dollars that got funded into all of the scams that they were pulling, they can't play the game that they used to play. And so the game is very different today than it has been for the previous decades long. And so these are the things that we're actually going to see these truths come out, and they're not going to be able to weasel their way out of it. Left Lane says, I think all we're going to hear is I plead the fifth. That's a very real possibility.
But the evidence
will
speak for itself.
Will be there that they can't wiggle away from.
Yeah.
And so they'll force them to answer other questions, and we'll see real lawyers doing real lawyer things, real prosecutors doing real prosecutor things that they won't be able to get away from. Carol says, Hillary said she would take DC down with her. And I believe that 100%. I think that's another one of the reasons it wasn't just frazzle drip, if that's 100% real. I don't think that level of evil is the only thing. I think that they know that Hillary will bring the whole system down with her because they didn't do what they were supposed to do to protect the whore of Babylon. Left Lane says, all you're going to hear is my lawyer told me to plead the fifth.
You ready?
Yep.
You have.
Of course, now I'm coughing. Dry throat. All right. Let's see. Let's share this. This is something here in Las Vegas. All right. Netanyahu's cyber chief arrested in Vegas in a Vegas child predator sting, then sent home free. It's an abomination. He's an IDF vet and head of AI for the Israeli government. And there's a long article here And basically, long story short, there was a, let's see, on this past Wednesday, August 13th, Las Vegas police, working with the FBI, Homeland Security, and Nevada's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, announced the arrest of 8 men in a 2-week child predator sting. One of those men was Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, 38, the top Israeli cyber warfare official working directly under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. According to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Alexandrovich and other suspects were charged with luring a child with a computer for I guess we can say these words. We're on the tube of you. Sex act, a serious felony that in Nevada can carry a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. And so they did that. And I'm just going to kind of paraphrase here, but they released him, and he caught a flight and he left. And he has no diplomatic immunity as far as I'm planning on getting a drink. Anyways, it's part of the game that's being played, but I also have a feeling that like Q had said, that Israel, they're saving Israel for last. And I think that this is kind of one of the issues. And that's something that's kind of brought up because I think, if I remember correctly, that they have different standards over there in Israel in terms of what minors are or how that's prosecuted. And so I probably, as an international courtesy, was allowed to leave, but we'll see how it all plays out. But it's certainly
disgusting.
Certainly speaks volumes as to the kinds of things that are going on. And kudos to Las Vegas Metro for fighting the fight and doing the best they can. Truly appreciate it. And we'll see how things turn out.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All righty.
You're not defined by your condition. You're defined by your calling, and you have a call and a mandate from God. You've been gifted, given talents. He's anointed you for such a time as this. So stop defining yourself by what happened to you. Stop defining yourself by the mat you may be laying on right now. Stop defining yourself by the restrictions and the limits. There is no restriction and limit to what God can do in you and through you if you begin to believe that he is able to do exceeding and abundantly above all that we can ask or think, according to the power that is at work. Where there's wonder working power on the inside of you, you just have to activate it. The moment you realize who is at work on the inside of you and who has gone before you and who has your back, it brings you to a place where you can no longer remain silent. It brings you to a place where you can no longer remain quiet. It brings you to a place where you got to lift your hands and acknowledge, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, I would have been stuck at the gate called beautiful, but he saw fit to pull me up and out of every season and situation that limited me. And you find yourself in this place where you're surrounded by what looks beautiful, but your situation feels unbearable. You're close to breakthrough, but you're chained by your birthright.
Thoughts?
All right. We know that God is working through each and every one of us, and we just have to grab onto that. We have to recognize that the power that's within us, that's guiding us and motivating us, wants to come out and be a major part of everything that we do, and that we grab on with that kind of understanding that we are being led and that he is leading us, and that what could possibly be against us, as long as we're working to fight for our Creator, knowing that he is guiding us. And so we have to have that kind of confidence that he is going to make all of the things happen through each and every one of you.
Amen. Amen, Steph. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All righty.
Dear old friend, it's been a while we talked. It's been a while we sat down to tell each other about what's going on in our lives, but I know you're doing fine. We might be following different paths in our lives, but You still matter to me. You still do. And every single time I remember you, I smile because you made my life good. You did.
All right, dear. Thoughts?
All right. You know, we all have friends that we may not be in contact with anymore. We have friends that may be on the other side of the country, and they're very important to us. And they might, just because they're not around, doesn't mean that that emotion and the good times and the good feelings and everything that they brought to you, it doesn't mean that it's gone. They're still there inside of your heart, and there's a very real possibility that you're still in their heart. And our paths may separate at times, but it doesn't mean that that friendship can't come back together. But that loving friendship that was there will always be there. And so hold on to the beautiful things in life, because it's those beautiful things, the beautiful people that were in your life are the ones that make your life a little bit better. And so if you can, reach out to an old friend today and let them know that you're thinking about them. And if you can't reach out to them, know that they're there right here inside of your chest.
Amen. It doesn't matter. And especially if they come on your heart, text, call, whatever the case may be. They could be going through something and they might not just need someone to reach out. So remember that.
Friends are irreplaceable.
They really are.
And all of y'all are our friends, and we do appreciate each and every one of you. And we'd like to thank you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Locals, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on Pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on Facebook, you got like 7 choices. So clickety click.
Clickety click, everybody.
And also, if you wouldn't mind, just take a moment and leave us a comment afterwards. It really helps us with the algorithm. And if you could, there is a subscribe button down there for Locals. It's $5 a month. If you guys could help us out, that'd be really great.
All right, everybody. Well, we look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. And yeah, same dat time, same dat channel. All right, everybody. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you.